let's say we're in hyper peak season, right, where we don't give any discounts because we're just in peak. We don't need to discriminate on rates unless we know that one channel will pay more money, and then we will discriminate on rates.
Okay.
But let's say VRBO is known to pay 10% more, right? But it's peak season. We'd rather get our bookings on VRBO, so we'll keep our Airbnb rates a little bit higher, right? Then, if we're in a situation where we need to like gamify our outcomes, where we can have multiple outcomes, let's say we want to have a likelihood that we can make good money on 3 days, right? So we got our rates up, and you might even have a 3-day minimum. That might be your move, right? Then we know that if this weekend gets booked, these days get left behind, and that's why we do a reverse weekend bundle. So you might have that in there too. Now, because you can do a reverse weekend bundle on Airbnb, and you can't do it on VRBO, then VRBO, you might actually customize your rates to distribute to VRBO in a different way, where instead of keeping the rates up here more, we would actually lower the rates on the weekdays, and then we would so that way VRBO gets a lower rate set. And the one way that you would do this without it being insanely complex is you'd actually build your rates here with day of the week.
Sorry, we don't see them.
Yeah, we can't.
Am I losing? Sorry, guys. Okay.
No worries.
Now you can see what I'm doing. There we go. So let's say you go to customizations. I'm in your Nest listing, by the way. Let's say we go to customizations day of the week, right? Say you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off. So you have also Sunday. These are probably not exactly right. Sunday probably doesn't need to come down as much, by the way, because the Thursday and Sunday are not equal in your market. I guarantee it. So go check that. Mm-hmm. But let's say you build this for VRBO and you're going to un-VRBOfy it in Airbnb with rule sets, because you know you're going to use a reverse weekend bundle, but it has to become part of your permanent strategy, right? You actually have to use a rule set on Airbnb every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in the future, right? And we pick this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and the rule set that we make, we call it non-VRBO, and you call it reverse weekend, right? And it helps remind you and anybody who ever works for you that you're actively, I like using yellow for active stuff, you're actively doing a distribution thing where now your nightly rate, it will increase. So we want 11% up if we're going to do 10% down, right? 11% up will take 100 to 111, and 10% of 111 is 11, and they'll take you back to 100, right? Roughly. So you'd have a nightly price rate increase of 11% to offset the fact that you did a 10% off, right? For whatever days when you construct this. And then you can go length of stay discounts, and you could do it for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, and you can bring in whatever discounts you want for these days. And so let's say you look like this, and then for the 5 day, you want to make it a little bit more attractive. And that could be kind of how you would like make something look like that. So if pricelabs, if you're not pushing a different rate set to VRBO, which you can do in pricelabs, you can actually create 2 instances of the same listing, and then you can push them, but you push them directly. So pushing them through Guesty, if you do use Guesty, no, okay, cool, never mind. So if you push them directly to channels, you can have 2 listings per channel, and you can have one as a child, one as a parent. And I think you only have to pay for it once, I think. And you can deploy different rate strategies where Airbnb doesn't have a day of the week modification like we just talked about. But if you don't push it to 2, then you use day of the week for the more clumsy channels. And then on the Airbnb rule sets, you'll undo the day of the week modification because Airbnb has the capability of multi-day discounts.
Would it make sense to do this directly through our channel manager where you can just push the rates a little bit higher with different OTAs?
Well, remember, that's only global. Like no channel manager, like if we go back to the financial settings here, no channel manager allows me to increase my markups by the day of the week.
Okay, let's make sense.
Yeah, so for you guys, the whipsaw effect here, I do think that to maximize VRBO performance, you guys definitely should use the day of the week discount. I think that's right.
Well,
the risk of this blowing up in your face is kind of high. And so I think for now, you should have 2 different listings per, 2 different price labs per listing, where one pushes the VRBO, one pushes the Airbnb.
Right now, we don't have VRBO. We have this thing. It's called hawkinghills.com, and it's a local OTA. And the good thing about this one is it's smaller, obviously, but they give you 100% of your revenue.
And you just
They
pay an annual fee?
they just charge the guest per transaction, so they
Hmm.
don't really charge the host.
You are being lied to, my friend. That's the same thing that Airbnb does, right? Or Airbnb did before they took away split fee for people who were on channel managers. They would charge the guest 14%. Hocking Hills has a service fee for the guest.
They charge us also because we have to use this one thing called Avivo, and it's the PMS basically. If we
Hold
get
on.
booked, Mhm.
So to be on Hocking Hills, you have to use another software that is restrictive to the way that you operate your business.
Yeah, we have to use Avivo.
And
Um,
how much of your business is coming from HockingHills.com?
um,
It varies, but
I'm gonna
I'd
say it better
say
be over 50% if they're going to restrict your movement.
no, definitely not over 50%.
Okay. Yeah. Now is InVivo keeping you from using VRBO?
No, we
no,
could
but
use any other OTA.
they take a fee. So if whenever we get booked from like Airbnb, our own website or something like that, Avivo takes like a what is it, a 5% fee?
I hate this already. I hate this already. No, no, no way.
The only reason we did it is because HawkingHills.com gets a lot of traffic from the local area. And yeah, so that's why we did it. We thought we were seeing that Airbnb was just slowing down a lot. So it just kind of helped us
Let me
get more
disagree with you.
bookings.
See these spikes? See these spikes? See these occupancy spikes here? Airbnb is not slowing down a lot. If all of these weekends are insane, right? You've got 90% final occupancy on a Saturday. You've got 90 something percent final occupancy on a Saturday. All these Saturdays are insanely high. You've got 20 weeks a year where the Saturdays are under 90%. You've got 10 weeks a year where the Saturday occupancy is under 85. 77 right there, right? You don't have you got 12, 15 under 80. You do not have a problem with occupancy in your market. You just have a problem with strategy, right? This
Yeah.
whipsaw that you guys have, this insane swing from 44% to 90, like I was telling your business partner before, the only reason why Tuesday is 44% occupancy is because some people booked on a Saturday or a Friday also include the Tuesday. The true Tuesday only occupancy is probably like 15%.
Mm.
But the 35% or 30% of the 44 is actually grouped in with a weekend, right? So your real strategy is just controlling length of stay to make sure that you get the most days booked on these weekends. And then your guys, did I tell you about it? Like email blast idea to get your weekdays full through December? Was that you guys?
Yeah, like the 12 days,
The
12
12
days.
days of Christmas?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Good. Yeah. And then and that becomes your split off, right? You build your black book through your Saturdays, but you control length of stay and stuff like that in these hyper peak ones, and then you try to sell up your weekdays through some other strategies. But man, I would not give this Hocking Hills website 5% of these Saturdays. It just doesn't make any sense to me. You're trading away 5% of your revenue from Airbnb. That's a bad trade. There's no reason. Because, like, for example, let's say you get 10% of your bookings from hockinghills.com, right?
Hmm.
And they also charge you 5% of all your Airbnb bookings. Is that what's true?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you take the 5% you paid on Airbnb and put that into all of your revenue on hockinghills.com, you probably are paying as much in Airbnb fees as you are paying in Hocking Hills revenue. Does that make sense?
Are you saying the difference between what we would have made with just Airbnb versus what we're getting through?
Yes. So let's say you do $50,000 a year on Airbnb, right?
Okay. Mhm.
And you have to pay 5%. That's $2,500.
Okay.
Okay. And hockinghills.com generates you $4,000 of bookings. Your net increase is $1,500 in total net income because Hocking Hills got you 4,000 in bookings, but charged you 2,500 in Airbnb. The 4,000 isn't 4,000. It's only 1,500. So now the question was, could you have got those other days booked for more than 1,500 elsewhere, like without using this Hocking Hills website? And the chances are, yeah, right? So the incremental growth is Hocking Hills revenue minus all of their fees that they charge you to be on in vivo.
Okay.
And I think it's a bad trade. I think you're getting got. So I would get on VRBO. I would work on your email list. I would work on your Instagram account and start doing some stuff. And we can talk about your social media strategy on another one. If you guys are ready to start doing social media stuff, we'll have to talk about that on probably your next call. But I think that's another thing you should really consider. Everything I told you about the polarization strategy from last week, take that, copy it, cut in vivo, get VRBO, make 2 listings for the nest, and one goes to VRBO where you do a day of the week strategy where you really customize the day of the weeks based on this occupancy chart here, where I want your rates to really follow this occupancy chart. So that way you do not need to worry about 3-day, 4-day discounts on VRBO. But then Airbnb, you can utilize this clipping strategy where you make sure that your weekdays don't go any cheaper than X, Y, or Z. And that way you can have shorter length of stay minimums, but at higher rates, and then do 3-day and 4-day discounts.
So when we give our discounts, should I know you talk about I think the contribution. What is the contribution factor?
Contribution margin?
Yes. So when you talk about the contribution margin, is that basically helping us decide how low of a discount we need to do so we're not losing money on our fixed expenses? Or
Well, conceptually, contribution margin says that if you collect even $5 beyond your cleaning fee, you still made $5. That's what contribution margin would argue. So contribution margin, I would argue, as long as your incremental expenses are captured in a fee, then your nightly rate can go as low as it takes. That's what that would argue. The main moral of the story for you guys, though, is every single week you have to run 2 strategies. You have ADR protection on your weekends, right? You have to protect the ADR. At times that you're over 90% occupied, you can also force occupancy as well. So ADR is your priority every weekend. I really don't see a weekend that's low enough aside from, gosh, this one right here that you already booked on December 20th. The final occupancy for the market, 61%, right? So you do have a weekend that is low occupancy, but you already have it handled, right? Which is good. There are very few weekends that you really have to consider trading your ADR away, right?
yeah.
But most of your weekends, even this up here, right? This one up here is like in the 80s, right? 87%. So at about this point or higher, not only do you ADR rate protect and not give discounts on your Saturdays, but you also can force length of stay minimums to make sure that your Saturday includes other days because your occupancy is so high. So in super peak days, not even seasons for you, but days, Saturdays, you actually use the Saturday occupancy as the litmus test. Any hyper occupied Saturday, you rate protect on ADR and you enforce a minimum that's pretty hefty. Anytime that like occupancy drops below 85, you stop being so like sticky on your minimums maybe, or you actually give it you actually make a trade. So you keep your ADR high, but then offer a 3-day discount of like 10% or something, right? On the ones that are under 85. And that's your Saturday strategy, right?
Now you do a minimum, but if someone doesn't want to book those extra days, you're saying they have to end up booking those days if they want to book that weekend, or they have the choice?
Yeah, so your plan A is 4-day minimum stay. Any day, anytime that the Saturday's involved, 4-day minimums for Saturdays. That's the rule, right? Occupancy drops below 88% or 85%, you can do a 3-day minimum, right? And then offer a 4-day discount of like 12% off for a 4-day, right? So what that does is you still ADR protect on the 3-day stay, and you open up the option of 3-day where the occupancy drops below 88%, but then you incentivize the 4-day with like a 12% discount. If the occupancy drops below 80% on a Saturday, you then can do a 2-day minimum stay, like low lead time, with a 12% 3-day and a 20% 4-day discount. But then you still do a 3-day minimum, longer lead time. And instead of 12% discount on 4-day, you make it like a 18%, 20% discount on 4-day to further incentivize the 4-day stay. Because the problem is these days that are just before Saturday, like this Wednesday, is in the abyss. It's just in the abyss. It's gone. Anytime that Saturday gets booked, your Wednesday is dead. So what we're trying to do is we're ransoming our Saturdays, right? And so you're running two counter strategies at the same time. You have a Saturday strategy that uses the occupancy of the market to determine how, like, what's the word I want to use? How uncompromising you want to be, right? With your 4-day minimums and then 3-day discount, like 4-day discounts with a 3-day minimum, that scaling down. But then your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays have a reverse weekend counter strategy, which is how big of a weekly discount are we going to roll into these weekdays, and how big of a 5-day discount are we going to roll into these weekdays? And I think I told you guys maybe Tuesday, Wednesday was on the last call, Tuesday, Wednesday is probably your worst 2 days. And to use a Tuesday, Wednesday based rule set where you do give a pretty heavy 5-day discount or heavy 4-day discount, you should go back and watch that for clarity. Because I think what we did is we talked about like 2 or 3 different levels of discounts. And where it gets bad enough, you even apply that same discount to 3 days instead of just 2, right? Was the third level.